section. Yeah, so how do you participate every day? Make sure to join the live sessions, join the Google Classroom, join the Telegram group. It's very important. And then complete, take all courses, check out the content in the Google Classroom. Make sure to check, make sure to check, make sure to check. Okay. Complete your assessment. So please note that all assessments are open to the end of the program. So you can take it anytime to the end of the program. This is just a guide on how to use the Google Classroom and how to get started. In case of for the attendance, so you'll find please make use of your student's ID, not your email address. Please don't put in your student's ID. Make sure you use don't use your email address. Use your student's ID. You will find that in the records. So everybody that registered for this program has a student ID. So make sure to use your student ID. And then the attendance, you can scan the attendance now to mark. Scanning, use the scan the bar to mark in your attendance. For those online, the link will be dropped in the chat, so you can pick that up and sign in your attendance. Okay, great. My colleague has dropped that in the chat, so pick it up and mark in your attendance. So for this class, we studied SQL, structured query language, and the tools needed that should be the tools needed for this class has been sent to everyone that's registered. So I believe everyone has checked their mail and have downloaded the tool for this class. So we'll be using SQL Server Management Studio. So if you have not, please do so to download so that you can practice all the live sections. So to get certificate, you must have completed all assessments with at least an average of 80%. You must have made up to 4 out of 6 classes, and then you'll be able to get a verifiable badge of completion. So for those that are here, you can connect to the guest Wi-Fi. Just click on guest. Just click on the Wi-Fi guest, and then you can connect. So that's all in caps, guest, all in caps. Okay, we'll check the sound. Check the sound. So I said earlier, we're using SQL Server Management Studio. So if you have not downloaded that, please make sure to download that before the class starts. So he's our facilitator for today's class. Oluwaseun Ajo is a data scientist and data scientist network with 3 years plus of experience in data analytics, business intelligence, data visualization, and project management. She holds a bachelor's degree in statistics and professional certification in project management and artificial intelligence. That's a view. She is passionate about solving complex challenges and providing transformational solutions to real life issues. So please make welcome our facilitator for today's class. Okay, all set, ready to go to this class.
Can you hear me now? All right. Happy holidays. I believe you enjoyed that. And then we're back to another class. So I'm going to show you me. I'll be taking the SQL class. All right. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to take it today. So the SQL class is for today. Today, tomorrow. Somebody is saying echo in here. Can you help with the echo? Okay, so let's continue. So I'm taking the first part, which is introduction to SQL, and then another instructor will come and take the second part. All right. So for today, our training goes basically introduction and setup. I believe it is sound is not clear. The sound is working. Okay, so we are working on the sound. So please hear it. All right. So our training goes introduction and setup, fundamental SQL statements, aggregate function, basic SQL command. Can you hear me now? Is it clear now? Is it clear now? Is the sound clear now? All right. So why is you so SQL one of our analytics? So now so one of some of the importance of SQL, I'm going to be reading now. SQL is a programming language that you can reason out. So that's what being intuitive means. So it's like, okay, I want this. So it's very, very easy to understand because it's so intuitive. That's high performance. All right, sorry about that. I was needed to quickly fix something. All right, so I said SQL is intuitive, SQL has performance. What that means is it's able to work with large amount of data. Unlike Excel, the average memory size is like Excel instance. But for SQL, you have 500,000 plus terabytes. So you can work with large data. And then you work with it as though you're working with few tables. So Excel has high performance, it's highly accessible, uh, some part of SQL is actually open source, like MySQL, like the one we are using right now. You don't need to subscribe or pay for it. So it's very, very accessible. Although we have some like the Azure that you need to subscribe for, but MySQL SSMS is really is open source. So it's also highly scalable, which means you can add to it, you can remove from it. So it's highly scalable and then it suits organization of any size. You are working with a small organization, medium or large. So SQL is very, very important. So now let's just go to an introduction. When we talk about SQL data management, it's very important to understand that data management is key to the life of any organization. Okay, so for example, let's give you an example. Jumia tracks tons of data every day. An example is also MTN. Just imagine the number of calls you make. With Nigeria of an estimated population of 206 million as at 2020, just imagine a fraction of Nigeria, let's say 10 million, is subscribed to MTN and the people make calls every day. Just imagine the amount of data. So it's not something you can just use Excel to populate. You need a database to work with it. So I mean, any organization that will not manage database management, any business basically, is not ready to actually live in the near future. They can't even survive in the near future. So let's talk about what database really is. All right. So what is database? Database is a structured set of data held in a computer. I would like you to take note of the word structured because we also have unstructured data. So the database is structured set of data that you can, electronically configure, store is what we know as database. Simply put, you can just say database is an organized collection of data and that can be accessed electronically. So if you have your data in paper, in one file somewhere, it's not a database. Okay. So we also have different type of databases. We have relational database. What relational means is in one relates to the other. In our case, we're dealing with tables, okay? So you have different tables. An example is, let's say, an e-commerce site. Okay, so you have your customer table, you have your suppliers table. So the customer is related to the supplier because they are going to be buying things that your supplier is definitely selling to you. So that's the relational database. Then we have a cloud database, which are stored in the cloud. Example is Azure, AWS. Then we have NoSQL database. In NoSQL database, we deal with structured data or semi-structured data. Okay, so you don't actually write SQL query for them. So they actually call no SQL database. Please, I hope I'm not going too fast. Okay, let me check the chat section. All right. Let me just continue. Okay, so and then I've actually shared the so with the facilitators, the what's it called, the help we're going to be the software. I shared the SSML and the SQL Server, and I'm going to tell you why we're using that. All right, so data modeling. As a database or a data analyst, data scientist, a database manager, a database administrator, it's very important for you to understand data modeling. And that's because we are working with relational database, which means a database is relating to another. So there's a need to model. So what is data modeling? Data modeling is the process of analyzing data objects. So in our case, tables. So we are now analyzing data tables and their relationship to other tables. So if you know that your customer table is related to your suppliers table or your orders table is related to your products table, there's a need for you to model your data. And how do you model your data? We have three methods. The first one is the conceptual modeling. And conceptual is more like foundational. You just have the concept. Okay, you want to start a business. You're like, okay, I want to start buying and selling. Or I want to start an e-commerce site or any business. The first thing, okay, I'm going to be getting data from this from different sources. So your concept is this particular one relates to this one. Okay. Your orders table relate to your customer table because your customer is looking for something. Okay, so that's the conceptual data model. Then logical data model is when you now specify that okay, under my orders table, what will be there? Orders ID, the date during the item, when it will be delivered, so and so. You've listed them out. That is the logical data model. Then when you now have your data physically in a database, either MySQL or PostgreSQL or SSMS, that is what we call physical data model. So and then I have an example here of an e-commerce star schema data model. So here, if you look at the screen, you have individual customer. So this is customer table, you have the employees table, you have the store table, you have your date table, you have territory. For a company like Amazon, they will need to look at territory because people buy from them. People in Nigeria will order from Amazon. So they will need to consider region so that you can look at the fact that, okay, which particular region is buying my product more? How can I scale it? How can I do more? Okay, they're not buying this particular type of product in this region. How can I make them buy more of it? So it's very important. So the first thing you do is you model your data first as a concept, then logical, then physical. Most time people confuse logical and the physical data model, but difference is once you don't have it in the database, it's still logical. All right. So I will just do a quick walkthrough on installing this. Or let me just confirm if everyone has installed, so I won't have to waste time on that. So if you've installed the server and the SSMS, can you just indicate yes, I have? How about here? Has anyone you've installed it? Okay, you have. Okay, yes. Okay, if you've not, just say no, so that I'll know. Uh, okay, no, no. Wow, interesting. Okay, I'll just do a quick run through. Okay, so you have to download two things, not one. So the SQL Server is the server that will house your database, but the management studio is where you manage it, where you query it, and okay, I want to retrieve this data set, I want to get that. So that is why the SSMS is very easy. You just let me click on that link. I believe the link has been dropped in the chat box, right? Yes, so the link takes you straight there, and then you click on download. So I have it already, so I might not install to the end, so I'll stop along the way. But if you click on the first link, then you go back to the second link. Is it showing my web browser? Let me confirm that. Okay, all right. So then I would advise you download Express. So you can download any other developer or Express. They are both free edition. So you just download and then you install like you would normally install your software. Okay, so wow, I have about 7 minutes left. Okay, let me just let me just visually check those that have not. Yes, I was told the video was sent. So okay, let me just confirm. No, 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 yes, yes. No, 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 yes, I have. Okay, so I think majority have installed. Okay. So if you open your SQL Server like I am doing right now, so click on yes. So it's very simple to tell you the required card will not be downloaded. Okay, because I already have it on my system already. So yes. And then for the SSMS, it's still downloading. It's about 675 MB, so it's a very large file. So that's just the way to download it. I wouldn't want to waste time on that. I only want us to go hands-on. Okay, my laptop just went off now, so let me just put it on. Removed. All right. I'm sorry about the break in transmission. So if you have issues downloading or installing, our support system will definitely help you with that. So just keep checking the chat section. They are going to answer your question. They're going to answer your question. All right. So let me just continue. All right. So we've set up our environment and then we need to create our first database. Okay. If you've created a database before, a new database. So we're going to look at how to create a database, how to create a table or different tables in SSMS. So it is very important to note these hints. When you're creating a database, you use lower letters. It's not like a compulsory, but it's just good to follow the rules. So they're just important things. It's used to use lower letters for your database. And when you're separating your words, it's better to use underscore. Don't use space. Just imagine your table about data, and then you have full names. So instead of writing full space names, you put full underscore names. Okay, is a conventional term. And why is that important? Because SQL has keywords, and these keywords cannot be used for your naming. So if you use that underscore, use it to link that name to another. Some type of keywords are like we have add, like select, from, where. So if you use that, SQL see it as a command. It won't see it as the name of your database or the name of your table. To see it as you want me to execute something. So it's going to be throwing error whenever you're trying to compile it. So it's very important to use underscore to separate your object name. All right, then it's also better to use singular words for table names and not plural. So like students, that's the name of your table, or students biodata, you put it together, you put underscore in between it. And then employees database or table or others table, or you just put others products. So it's very important to use singular words. And then lastly, don't use SQL keywords for your names. And I think I've explained that, like select, table, add. We're going to discover some of these other keywords that are commands in SQL. All right. Very important for us to understand is also SQL data types. We have different types of data types in SQL. We have character, but when you're writing your code, you use char, char. You won't write it in full character. Okay. Then character varying or varying character is varchar. So what that means is your character might vary. Let me just give an example. I mean, examples always simplify teachings. When you are using character, it means you're being static. You're telling this particular database must contain just 6 characters. You have to specify 6. For example, gender, I can say, okay, I'm having a database of only females. So, but the character must be 6. So FEMU, you can't have MELE. It has to be 6. But when you talk about varying character, it can be smaller, it can be larger. So that, but most time I use varchar, I don't even use character at all. Because when you're dealing with dynamic database, you can't be restricted to one. Okay. And then binary data types, there are hexadecimal data. We have small integer. You can see the range from minus 2 raised to the power 15 to plus 2 raised to the power 15. You can use integer, big int, boolean, date, time and timestamp. Yes, another important thing I would like to say that is not on this slide, and please I would like you to pay attention, is that in SQL we have 4 basic type of languages. It's not like it's super important, but just good that you have it for knowledge sake. So the first one we have DDL, which is data definition language. So what that means is you are defining a thing. For example, create table, you are defining it. You are saying, okay, update this thing. I want this thing to be done. So we call it DTL. We also have DML, data manipulation language. So you already have your database and you want to manipulate, you want to alter something, you want to change something. So that is DML. Then we have DCL. So DCL is data control language. The only two command we have there is grant and revoke. That means you grant permission. If you are working in a very large system, because this person cannot update this database. Maybe in the junior staff, this person cannot update, it can only just check what we have there. So you can grant access to some people, then you can revoke that, okay, this person can never see anything. So that's data control. And I think the last one, DQL, yes. DQL, data query language, and that's select. So you just select your data. All right, so those are the 4 basic languages in SQL. DDL, data definition language, then DML, DQL, and then DCL. All right. So now I've given you the int. So let's dive into SSMS and create a new database or do your first database. And I'd like you to follow through. Please just go to SSMS and then open your management studio. All right. So mine is coming up now. All right, I believe we can all see this. So I'll click connect. So you can see that when I connected to my SSMA, it's giving me SQL Server as a pop-up. So now this server is what houses the database, but I'll use the SSMS to manage the database. All right, so I'll just click on connect. And you always need internet access. So if you don't have internet access, it's not like Excel, you can't work with it. So you always need internet access. So this is what my interface looks like. If you have something different, you can't see. Online. Oh, okay. Okay. I was only sharing my what's it called? My slide. All right. So let me share this. Okay. All right. Okay, so if you are not seeing this, then you can just ask for help. Our support system will be here to help you. But if you have this, can I just I mean on site, can I see your hand? Can you wave your hand if you have this? It's showing you this. Or you're still trying to open it. Should I wait a bit? You're still trying to open it. Okay, let me check the chat section. Someone is saying, please restart the process. Interesting. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to close it and start it again. Okay, it's very simple. All right, so I'm closing that now. Um, mm, so you go type SSMS, like you will search for your Word or Excel or whatever it is. Don't worry, I'm going to share my screen now. I know it's not showing. Mm, okay. For those online, please, you can see my screen now. Okay, so for my server name, I'm using dot. Dot will connect your local documents. For some of you, you see some DW, very funny, like variables and characters, numbers and characters. But don't worry, that's your server name. You can also use dots. If that's doing that, you should just put dots. But if it's giving you the character and nature, just leave it and click connect. The only thing you have to do is to click connect. All right, so I've done the process again. I believe we are together. Okay, someone said yes. Okay, how about those on site? Yes, right? It's still opening. Any other person? It's still opening. Are you connected to the internet? Like I said, you have to use the internet. Because I would really love us to do this together. That's the most important thing. Has anyone been able to? Anyone at all? How about those online? Okay, I can see yes. Someone says still downloading. Okay, I'm not sure we can wait for you. Okay. Okay, someone said yes, yes. Okay, I can see yes, yes. Okay. Okay, I'm going to continue, then I will just do a quick recap again. All right, so Microsoft SQL is a bit easier than MySQL or Azure Data Studio. In Azure Data Studio, you can only use query to do anything. You have to write query. But here you can use the click method. To create a database, I can just click something and put the name of database and my database is created. But in Azure Data Studio, you can't try that. You have to write the query. But for this, I'm going to be teaching you query because so that when you find yourself in another organization when you're not using SSMS, and then you need to write the query. So it's very good to familiarize yourself with writing queries. That's the best practice. So, but if any situation whereby you can click, why not? I know the click is always easier and the faster route, but I'm going to show you the two. So, all right. So to create a new database, for those that have the same screen that I have, so you go to your database and you right click. You can see new database. So you click on that new database, then you have a pop-up. So you just put your database name. Let's say, I'm not going to use this, so let me just use test. Or let me use business. Sorry, I'm using one hand to type because of the mic. So you can leave the other default, just click OK. So now, but you're not seeing what I've created, right? So what you need to do is to refresh. This icon here is called refresh. I'm hovering over it. You can see the refresh F5. I can also press F5. So if I click on refresh and then double click on this, you can see I have business analytic database. So I have several other databases, okay? So that's why you're saying employee database, test two, training test, but this is the one I just created. So I'm now going to create using query, okay? Let me confirm. Have you been able to get to this part again? Anyone on site? Not yet. Okay, somebody kindly take it again. I'm going to show you the query part now. All right, so don't worry, we are still going to create a new database, but now I'm going to use the query. So how do we create using the query? So now, if you look at what we have here, we have new query, this upper part, new query. So you click on that. What will happen is the face of your screen will change. That blue part will change to white. Okay, so now I'm going to write a query. So to create a database, the query we write is create database, and then you put the name of database, create database. You notice something? There are some things I want you to know. When I did put the S, this part was black. I mean the E rather. Now I'm putting the E. Can you change to blue? This means there are keywords. Server name is not giving you any just put dots, full stop. You should connect it to the local document. Has it done that? Are you connected to the internet? Okay. Please don't worry. One of our support system will come and help you. If it's not giving you any server name, just click. Have you downloaded the SQL server? Okay. Okay, yes, Patrick will help you. All right, so create database, and then I'm going to use students for this second one so that you can see. Let me use students. Then in SQL, it's conventional to use semicolon at the end of every query. Though in SSMS, it will run without it because I've used this severally. But if you're using MySQL, you have to put that semicolon, okay? It won't work if you don't put it. So it's better to get used to it than not putting it at all. Okay, so what you do now is you highlight that, you highlight what you've typed, and then you go here, execute. So I click on execute. Then you have command completed successfully, completed time. You don't need that. So, but I can't see student here. So I'm going to refresh. Then you can see. So I've created a new database, student. So I want us to do that. It's very important. So those online, please can you confirm if you have been able to create any database? Okay, I can see yes from Kenny. Yes, I have. Oh, great. That's awesome. Did you use the query or did you use the click method? Anybody? If you use the query, I really give you a thumbs up because that's better. Someone said you both. Oh, awesome. The click method. Try the query. Olajide. All right. Okay. So we've created our database. Awesome. So we need to create a table. Like I said, SQL is intuitive. So you have a database somewhere. You want to create a table. So if you want to create a table, you know that your table must have rows and columns. But more important, columns. You can have a table with headers. Just like somebody giving you a form and the first person to fill that form, you know there will be no name there, but you have that. Put your name here, put your email here, and then put your whatever information they want to get from you. So to create a table, I'm going to use the query. So create also. Don't forget that create is a DDL, that's a data definition language. So create, what are you creating? Table. Yeah, what are you creating? Database. So it's very intuitive. You can reason it. You are creating a table. Then your table should have a name. Okay, so I'm going to use biodata. So student biodata. So my database is students. So under my inside my database, I have to have their biodata. So let me just use biodata. Okay, so what will be inside this table? Columns, my columns name. So I'm going to we use brackets. Then I like to make my query readable. So I'll start on the next line. So what are the columns? So I want full names, their full name. Some can have first name separate from second name, okay? So full name, then the data type. This full name, is it going to be a character? Is it going to be an integer? Definitely name is a character. Am I going to use character or variant character? Anyone? Am I going to use strictly character, like your name must be defined, maybe 20 characters, or should I use variant character, which is better? Okay, yes, very good, variant character. So I'll use varchar. So let me specify, for people with long names, let me use 200, but I don't want to believe someone's name will be as long as 200. So you put comma. Then I want my table to also have gender. So I'm going to put gender. Gender should also be varchar. The maximum, or technically, is 6. So female. Then I also want to have age. So age, what data type am I going to use? If people on site, I really appreciate you participate. Don't worry, we're going to help you with the installation for those having issues. So, yeah, somebody that said integer, awesome. So integer. So then you close your bracket, and then conventionally you put your semicolon. So all you do now is you highlight what you just did. So you know I've created a database already. So it's better to highlight your query. If you run everything, it's going to give you error because it will tell you that there's already a database called student. So it's good to highlight that part that you want to do. Then you click on execute. So you can see command completed successfully. So I've created my table, but I'm not seeing it. How do I see it? I'll refresh. So I'll refresh. And I'll go to students, that's the database. I'll double click on it. Then you have tables. I'll double click on tables. Okay, let me refresh one more time. It's not showing that. Okay, you should have my table right there. Oh, I think I know what's happening. All right, please. For those that didn't get that, I'm going to refresh. Because when you are creating your table, you need to tell SSMS which database to use. Because now it has created the table, and because I have series of databases, it's not sure where to fix the table. So what we do is we say use students. That means use student database. So yes, so let me just give space to this. Yes. So use student database, then create a table under it. All right, so let me run that again. So now I'll refresh one more time. Go to my students, go to tables, and then you have it, DBO, about data. That's my table. So what DBO stands for is database owner. It's just like saying you're the one that created it. Okay? Some is it can vary, but the generalized one is just DPO. All right, so I'm going to pause here for a while and just confirm that you've been able to create a table. There's also a click method to create table, but I won't show you that. Okay, let me check the chat session. Has anyone been able to create table? Let me try and drag this down. Done, awesome. Bankole, that's very good. Done. Tosin, awesome. Okay, I want more response. Oh, Azan, done, awesome. Alawal, done, that's great. Okay, Tosin, you have a question, done. Done, all right. Then, if you notice, I have full name, voucher. There are other things you can add to it, but these are the basic things. Some of the other things you can add is not know that this particular table, do I want to accept empty? That somebody might sign up to put their name, but they'll put gender. Have you seen forms like that? They will fill form and they will just remove, they won't put their age because they feel, why should I put my age? I don't want to declare my age. So, but I'm just going to show you where to see that. Okay. So I'm going to go to, let me go to that database. So this is the table. I'll go to columns. It's going to give me a pop-up. Let me refresh. Okay. Okay. Let me click on full name. Yes. Is the pop-up showing? Let me minimize all this. Okay. So here you have data type is voucher. The name of the column is full name. Do you want as primary key? Do you want to allow nodes? Do you want it to be an identity seed? So there are lots of things, but this is just the basic to start with. So I don't want to bug you with so many things, and then you're now thinking of creating data, a table. You're not like, okay, the name of my table, the data type, not null, so many things. Create the table. You can always edit some of all these other variables later. Okay. I just want to chip that out so that someone will not say, oh, the only thing you need to do is just put your name and data type. No, you might need to define some other things. All right. Let me just close that. Okay, for those on site, have we been able to create a data? Hello? Okay, I'm back. All right, anyone on site? Okay. All right, so let me continue. All right, so let me go back to my slide. So we've been able to create a database, we've been able to create a table. All right, let me just minimize this. Okay. I think I opened my SSMS like twice. Okay, so now I'm back to my slide. So I've done the live demo already. So we're going to look at the fundamental of SQL. the select statement, the from, and then the where clause. So what's the select statement? Select is actually one of the DQL language, which is a data querying language. So select means you're telling the database what to show you. From means you are giving the database a location. Select this from this. And then where means you are giving a condition or you are narrowing it down. Okay, can they see my screen? Those online can't see my screen. Okay, perfect. I believe you can see it now. All right. So the syntax is select column one. You can say, okay, I want to see just their name and gender. I don't want to see their age. So you select name, comma, gender from which table, what name of our table, about data, where you can decide to specify a condition or not. And I'm going to demo that so you see that explicitly. But to understand it, it's just like saying you're giving some set of children or kids like select star. Now in SQL, that asterisk means all. Select all the columns from present where contents are toys or chocolate. So you are now specify, you are narrowing down their search or you are giving them a condition. You can select everything from present, but only if it is a toy or it's chocolate. So as you can see, SQL is very intuitive. But before we select, then we should have something inside our table. Because right now we created a table without anything inside. So I've actually populated some sample values here. So it's going to be sent to you on the chat section. So you just copy it. So I don't want us to do it one by one. I want us to do it once. So you can see you have their full names, male, and then that's their gender and then their age. That's the same way I created my table. So it's just like 20 rows of data. So I'm going to copy that, Control C, and then I'll go to my SSMS. So So to insert values into your database, use the insert command. So insert values or into insert into table. What's your table name? Student, about data rather. Remember we created table about data. Yeah. So insert into about data. So it's already giving me the suggestion here. Then in your biodata, you specify the columns you want to insert in. Let's say, for example, probably you've collected the names of the students already, you've collected their gender, but you've not collected the age. So you just want to insert only age. So you have to specify what you want to insert. So now I'm going to insert full names. Full name, yes, already given me the suggestion. I'll click on that comma. I want to insert gender. And I also want to insert age. Now these are my values. So insert into table. I'll try and give you the when I'm sending the slides. I will just do a snipe of the syntax so that it's very easy to follow it. The others have snipes, but I didn't do snipes for this. So I'm just going to create the screenshot of this. So values. So I'm now going to paste my values now. Control V. Let me go over that again. So insert into biodata. Inside this biodata, I want you to insert inside full name, gender, age. I want you to insert these values. So then you put a semicolon at the end. And the reason why I'm putting is it hyphen now? Yes, is because remember it's a variable character. My full name is variable character, so you must put hyphen. But if it's an integer, you don't need hyphen. My gender is also varying character, so I have to put hyphen. If you don't put hyphen, it will not run. To tell you there's an error. And then what you do, let me just quickly explain this. So I put this now, this particular one that I'm highlighting now is like a row. So this is a row. Once I define my row, I'll put a comma. And then put another row, I'll put a comma. Define another row, I'll put a comma. So I'll keep doing that. So I don't want us to waste time on this. That's why I've created that already. And then the last one will not have comma, as you can see. It's just the semicolon. So I'm going to highlight this and then execute. So you can see 20 rows affected. So now I'm very, very satisfied that my tables. So I want to even see this table. So that's what we learned earlier, the select statement. So the select is used to query. If you think what you're working on is very cumbersome, you can decide to go to new query. Okay? Or you so that everything can be clean, you have a clean sheet. But I'm just going to use the same one. I'll just go so that I can always go back to what I've done before. But if you are using a clean one, you have to ensure you specify this use database, so that it won't be checking other database. Because if you have tons of database, you need to actually specify this use. All right. So let's check out. Okay. Let me please confirm. If you've been able to insert values, please just say yes. If somebody is asking why we are not using MySQL, okay, so MySQL is Oracle is an Oracle database, and then SSMS SQL is Microsoft. There are little difference. For example, let me show you one of the major difference. In this SSMS, if you make a change, like I want to change this person's name, Gary, to maybe Mary, SSMS will just save it for you. But in MySQL, you have to write commit another query to now save that change. So there are little differences, but the basic query that I'm teaching you is the same across board. Okay, so I hope I've been able to answer that question. Somebody said, how do we get the data? The data is posted on the chat section. Okay, so I will just crave the indulgence of the support group to just help us repaste, or let me just repaste it here. Control V, all right. So there you have it. So we want to see what we've inserted, because that's where SQL start getting interesting. So you've done a whole lot. You want to see. Then as part, no, this is not part of this course, but I'm going to teach you if you have time. And that is importing Excel or CSV inside SSMS. You already have an Excel file with rows and columns. You don't want to start creating, putting brackets. You just import it. It's very simple. It's just 4 simple steps. So if we have time, I'm going to teach you that. So you just go and create your data in Excel, just normal Excel, and just import it. So you have so you can have larger data to work with. So for us to see what we are doing, so you use select. Now let me say the SQL command is not case sensitive. So I can write select as small letter, and then I can also use caps lock. But the database name, the table name, they are case sensitive. The column names, every other name is case sensitive, but the command itself, like you can see, both are looking blue now, is not case sensitive. So that's why you see me writing in capital, sometimes you see me writing in small. Okay, so select everything as asterisk from, what's that table name? About data. Okay, so then you put this, and then you execute. As you can see, now you have, let me draw this up. Okay. So you can see you have your full name, gender, age, everything. You have it right there. So, but if you don't want to see everything, you just want to see the name, let me bring this down. I'm looking for that down sign. Okay. All right. So perfect. Okay. So select. I don't want all. Select just full names. If you look at full names, so don't forget it's case sensitive. So I have to use capital F because that's the name of a column. So it's already giving me option. So full name. So I just want to see their name. I don't need their gender. So if I execute that, so I have just full name. So, all right. Has anyone been able to do that? You can also decide to use age or whatever you have. Yes. Okay, Rohim, I can see. You can't see the full screen. Are you sure? Because I have to even increase the resolution of my system. I don't use something this big. I like it very tiny. So I believe you can see it. Wow. Okay, let me just check the chat section now. Somebody can't hear you all. Can you hear me now? Have you been able to use the select and from statement? Very well, yes, awesome. So remember I showed you select, from, and where. So now that where is a condition. So I'm going to show you. So now if I do this, so I just want people's names that their age is 26. I don't want everybody. Probably the scholarship opportunity, and like if you're, the limit is 26. So I want to use the where clause. So don't forget where gives condition or it narrows down what you are picking. Like those children I showed, you pick only present that have toys and chocolate. So in this case, you are only picking names of people that their age is 26. So we're going to have where age is equals to 26. So I'm going to run this. So you can see it's giving me just the names of students that their age is 26. And this where is actually a filter clause. You can filter with your where clause, and then you can decide to do any style with it. You can decide to use, okay, where age is greater than. You can use any of your logical operator, where age is greater than or equal to, where age is less than. So you can always start with this, where age is less than, where age is equal to, less than or equal to, and so on and so forth. All right, so let's just try where age is greater than, let's say 30. I believe I should have some students with that age. Okay, yes, perfect. So I have Monroe 31, 32. So you can see that everything is greater than 30. So if I should put greater than or equal to, if I have 30 there, it's going to show 30. But if I don't have, it's not going to show 30. Let me execute that. I'm not sure I have 30. Okay, yes, I do. Congview is 30 years. So you can actually just work with that. So why are we talking about this? If you have a business, you want to know that so many people are buying more than 5,000 naira. Just like the Jumia that they will do Jumia, what's it called? below 5,000, or some they'll just say Jumia. So I want to know how many of my customer can has bought more than 5,000 worth of goods for the past 2 days. You just use your query and have it. So these people, where is their location? So in this case, assuming I have ordered a column, and I'm still going to show you, I can use this and say, okay, their age is greater than or equals to 30, and their gender, I'm going ahead of myself, I'm supposed to teach this later, and their gender is male. So I want to know which of my students is above 30 and they are male. So I'm going to query this. So you can see above 30 and everything there is male. So I want to know. So you're working with a business. I want you to find out for us. Let's see. Can you get the statistics above this? People buying more. Okay, which one is less? Which country is not buying from us like they used to, or so many things you can do with. So that's why SQL is one of the business analytics too, because you could actually get insight and see something at a glance. Even if I'm working with thousands of rows, it will still going to be almost this fast. So SQL is very, very, it has high performance. It just gives you at almost a click. All right, so let me go back to my slide. So yeah, so we've done this. So we are moving on to the alter and delete. So in your alter, you can decide to add a new column that, okay, I don't want just their name, their gender, and their age. I want to add their address. Okay. Or I want to, what else? Can someone suggest? Student data. What do we might have there? We have name, gender, age. Yes, country, state of origin. So I want to have more because I want more insight. So you can add new columns. So to add a new column, you tell your table, I want to alter my table. Okay, so you alter table, but you tell us the table name you want to alter. Then you tell, okay, this is the table I want to alter. Then add this column and then put the data type. This column maybe integer, string, another column integer. So it's very simple, very intuitive. And then if you want to delete, you say, okay, I want to alter this table. I want to drop. So you use drop for delete. So I want to drop this column, and then you specify also. And then if you want to delete an entire table, so it's not advisable. So on my screen you have think carefully before you delete a table. I'm not going to delete my table because I've created just one. But if I check some of my other database, I have some non-useful data, tables, so I can delete that. So you have to think carefully before you delete a table. If there's an existing query or there are some functions there, your deletion of it to make everything invalid. So and then if that table is related to another table, it will have an issue. So it's very important to think. So I'm not going to delete a table, but I'm going to add a new column. I'm going to delete a column. So let's do that quickly. Let me go to SSMS. Okay, for those online, I hope you're following. If I'm too fast, please let me know. Wow, 11:05. Is this the real time? When am I supposed to stop? I want to show them how to import data from Excel. So it's going to be very easy. You can have so many data. Okay, let me be fast. When I say we are following, okay, so I'm not too fast because wow, I prepared quite some content. Okay, so what do you want to do? We want to add. So alter, please permit me to use my two hands. So alter table. So I want to alter my data table. So I want to add. So what should I have? Somebody said country. To add country, country should be Bacha. So longest country name. I'm not sure exactly. So let's add two columns. What are the states? Let's go into contract states. Nigeria. So let me just put states. So state, can say it's giving me boost. So state is the keyword, so I can't use state. So, or I can put state something, so I can now put underscore. So if you change from blue to black, state of, looking too long, I will naturally not use a very long. So voucher also, 100. So I'm going to run this. So command completed successfully. So now let me check what I've added. Let me, don't forget. Can you hear me? Okay, fine. So you can see it has added country and state of origin. But what do you have there? You have null. No, so that means there is no data. I can decide to insert like I did. But when you're not specifying your column, instead of putting full name gender, you just put country, state of origin, and then you just populate it that way. Okay, so now I want to delete state of origin. Who can remind me the keyword to delete? Anybody? Let me check. No, it's not delete. Drop, awesome. So it's drop. So please permit me to be a bit lazy. I don't want to retype it. Drop. I'll remove this. Okay. So drop. You don't need to put your voucher. You understand? It's already there, so it knows that there's something like that. So drop table. Okay, I'm having an error here. Message origin is not a constraint. Okay, let me specify my data type. What data type is voucher 50, right? Okay. Please, I'll come back to this. Sometimes it's not good to be lazy. So I should have probably typed it, but the syntax we have is we drop column. I didn't put column. Drop column. Yeah, so that was what I omitted. Drop column. What's the name of our column? State of origin. State of origin. Voucher 50. Okay, perfect. So you use the word drop. I didn't put column. So then you don't need to specify your data type because it already knows that this is a variable character or integer as the case may be. So you alter table by data, drop your column. Okay, so let me run. Let me go back to my slide. I hope you are following so that I won't just be running and then we're not getting it. Okay, Dixon is saying yes. Can I get another yes if you're following? Following, awesome, awesome. Okay. Hmm? The code, mean the values. Okay, what I can do is I can just copy it. I'll copy this. I'm using the same query. I didn't use another. I'll copy it and paste it in the chat section. Okay, I'll copy and paste it on my WhatsApp. Then I'll send it to Babatude. Will send it to you, maybe your Google Classroom. Okay. Okay, so you're going to update. So now you want to change a particular value. Discover that you made a mistake. For example, my student, somebody is actually a female and then you use male. So there is that flexibility in SQL to change. You want to change somebody's age. What are the persons put a wrong age or person is now 25 and before you have 24. So the SQL update query is used to modify the existing record in a table. Now, the wonderful thing about query is if you don't use where, it's going to change everything. For example, update, data, set, I think I added country, set country equals Nigeria. It will set everybody as Nigeria. But if I put where their age is 26, so only people that are 26, it will change their country from null. No, in this case, you don't have anything there, just null, null, null. To change this null to Nigeria. Okay, so we are going to update that now. So let's just dive into SSMS. Please let me know if I have 5 more minutes. Okay. So update data. Set country equals, let's use our beloved country, Nigeria. So I'm not going to put where clause, okay? So you see that everything, but let me execute this. All right, you can see 20 rows are affected. If I've added a where that where their age is 26, it's only right number of rows affected. So now let me see everything that I've done. Select this. So can you see? Everybody, Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. And then notice that the state of origin is here. All right. Because online, please try that, practice that, and let me know your feedback. So, screen not showing. Can you see my screen now? Okay, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to change it from Nigeria to, so that for those that did not see it. So update by data, change country to which country is interesting? Ukraine. So Ukraine. So I'm going to put where here. Where age, where age is equals to 26. So I'm going to run this. So you can see 4 rows affected, which means the age of 26, there are just 4 people having age 26 there. So let me select. I don't want to keep typing select. I will just go and execute. So you can see number 2, 26 years, Ukraine. Number 5, male, 26 years, Ukraine. Okay, somebody said just scroll down. So I'm going to scroll down. Yeah, so this is what I did. The first time I did not use this where. I did not use this where. So it changed everything to Nigeria. So I decided to apply the where clause. Okay, Lajide, can you see my screen now? Scroll down. So this is what I did. Okay, so I want to believe you can see it. All right, so let me move on. To my slide now. So let's pick the next one. So yeah, so we are done with the basic one. So we're going to aggregate function. Aggregate function, you are dealing with math operation. But here the word aggregates. something that is added. Hello. Okay, fine, awesome. Okay, so aggregate. So when you combine things together, for example, sum. So we are summing something, we are summing two or more things together. So you are summing a single thing, then it's still the same value. So we're dealing with aggregate functions. You're looking at sum, count, minimum, maximum, and so forth. So let's look at how SQL deal with aggregate function, because in real life, you might not be able to get those data. Or what you might be working with is aggregates. Just for example, calls. You are now looking for each person's call for like, you can't actually get that. You just be aggregate that. Okay, in this location, because people make tons of calls daily. And if our internet is imagine the number of times internet in a daily basis. So like, okay, this particular Yaba, what is the average? So we can also use average AVG, average number of calls per day. So we'll know if we are going to replace the new mast or put something there. So that is aggregate. So let's dive into SSMS and see how it works. So I'm going to do some. And then, of course, I believe we should know that when you're summing something, definitely that particular thing is an integer. Okay, so you can't sum food, but I working with min and max. The way SSMS sees it is your A is the list, and then Z. So if you're looking for minimum food name, but you just take it to the last letter. Then minimum will take you to the first letter, then the maximum will take the last letter. But we'll talk about sum. Some will only give, you can only deal with integers. So select sum. Let's use age from your about data. You can still even put your where. Find the sum of ages, maybe 26 years, where, or let me use gender, where gender equals male. So let me explain what I'm doing. I'm finding the sum of ages of male. So it's going to give me per age. I think I should run this so that I will see it, so that it will be easier to understand. So you can see that it's giving me just a single value because I'm summing. Then another part of SQL you need to know is use the word as. This as means because it's aggregated, it's not going to go and pick a table name from somewhere because it's like a new thing on its own. You're just summing things. So this as means to name that particular aggregate that you're working. So I can say, okay, this particular one, make it sum. Name as sum. So if I should run this, just check the header that's changed to sum. So that means the ages of the male that we have there, the sum of their ages is 358. And then you might not put this as and just put space to do the same thing. So you can use that, then check the female. So it can even give you a summary of the fact that we have more females buying things from us, or you can even you can use count. Count is more applicable in that example I'm just giving now. So here the sum is 233 for female. So let me use count. Excuse me. Count. I'm going to remove this word close. So it's good query writing to put as, so that when I'm seeing your query, I can understand what you're writing. But if you don't put that as, it will still run. But somebody that looking at it for a second, like, what's the meaning of this? Select count statement, female counts. Select as female count. So that will be your header. So let me run this. So to count the number, oh, I should use age rather, age, because age is a column name. So in this count, you put your column name. Don't forget we have 4 columns now, right? We have 4 columns. We have full name, gender, age. I've not refreshed this. So we have full name, gender, age, and country. So indeed, what you're aggregating is your column. So let me run this again. Sorry, I'm trying to be fast. So here, the female count is 20. Oh, the age count rather, because I've removed female. Age. Age count is 20. Okay, so let me use where clause. What's my time? Do I still have time? Okay. Where gender equals female. So here it's telling you that you have 8 females in your database. So I'm supposed to change the naming of this to female. Should I recap? Or you understand? Those online, please let me know so I can recap this particular part. Let me check the chat section. Okay, somebody said recap, please. So let me do a quick. Somebody said no. Okay, let me do a quick recap. So you're counting the ages where the gender equals female. So it's counting the number of ages you have under female. So you can see that you have just 8 of them. So in order to understand that, let me use male now. Male. So you know that I have 20 data points. So then that means I have 12 male. So let me just run this. You can see male counts 12. So it's counting it one by one. If it's sum, it will sum the ages. If it's count, it will count it. If it's minimum, to look for the minimum age. Male minimum. So if I execute this, the minimum age for the male students is 21. So you can use different aggregate for, you can use AVG, average, marks. Like I said, you can use marks for characters also. The only thing is it will use A as the minimum and Z as the maximum. So I believe that's a good recap. Okay. That's okay, I understand. All right, thank you. So let's dive back. So we've done aggregates, functions. So we are going to the last part now. The last part is basic SQL. We did fundamental earlier. So now we are going to basic. We are going to look at SQL filtering. So filtering in SQL is basically done with the where clause. And I think we've done the first part, so this even makes my work easier. So we've done the greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. The another part is the logical operators and or. And I think I've done that too. Yes, I did. If age is equals to this and gender is equals to this. So awesome. Then we also have some advanced filters. Some of them we have in, like, between, then we have wildcards. So what are wildcards? Wildcards are symbols used to represent characters. For example, you want to know the names of people that start with J. Well, you know that people are Jackie, or Jan, or June, or July, but you just want that their first name should start with J. So you just put J and you put a wildcard, a symbol. So it will give you all the names that start with J. And if you want it to be the last letter of their name should be N. So you put the wildcard in front, and I gave a quick summary. This particular symbol represents 0 or more character, and this is an example. So if you put BL and then the percentage symbol, it will look for any name that start with BL and any other thing. So it can be blue, black, blob, it can even be BL. So if you use this underscore, it represents just a single character. So I'm looking for, okay, sorry, that's a mistake. So you put H_T. So if you look for any other letter that has H, or the underscore might not be O, A, or anything. So it's used to really solve time, reduce time. Okay, so what that what they call them wildcards. So we also have the square brackets, we have the what's it called now? This power sign that they use when you're writing your code, sometimes you use that power sign, and then you have the dash. So those are just wildcards. So I would like us to skip this and go to importing data into SSMS. Just try this because of my time. I really want to show you how to import data. Okay, well, let me teach how to import, and then I'll come back to this because I think I have 3 minutes more. Now, when you're importing data into SSMS, you can use Excel or CSV, but your Excel must be 2017 and above. So I'm not sure. Because most people, when I train people, most people see I have 2006 Excel. So and I'm like, no, you can't use this. So what we do, we convert that Excel file into CSV. For CSV does not have any restriction. So if you have an Excel file, convert it to CSV. But if your Excel is 2017 and above, you're good to go. You can definitely import. Okay, so I'm going to share my SSMS now. Okay, so let me just close all this. So if you want to import data into SSMS, so you double click on where you have these databases. Let me close all this. So I believe this is very easy to understand. You double click on where you have databases. Then you go to the particular table particular database that you want to import that table, because your table is coming from Excel and your table must be inside the database. Okay, so you go to that database. For my own, I'm using Business Analytics. Then you right click. Okay, when you right click, this is what you have. Then you have tax. You go to tax. Under tax, you go to import flat file. This I have in the slide with the step, so it's very, very easy. So it will give you this pop-up. So this pop-up, you click next. You tell them to show you where. So you go to your local disk or wherever you store your file. For me, it's my documents. So I'll go to my documents. I'm going to go over this again so that. So where's my document? Yes. So documents. So I'll search for the file. That's the file, but I want to show you so that it won't look like maybe I just. So this is it. The CSV data. And very important, when you are importing data, ensure that your data is in a table format. I believe you were taught in Excel. It must be like in the table format, which means you're not having it is having the columns and the rows. So you're not having some funny tables that will have first header, second header, third header. You're just having strict one header and then the various rows. So I'll click on open. So here I can decide to change my table name here. Here I have sample food sales. I can decide to rename it. So my table schema is ZBO. So you leave that as that. You go to next. So it will preview your data. This is what it looks like. So you can see that my data is in a table format. Just one single row for the columns and then others. So you go to next. Here, it will show you data type. So if you have an issue like this ID now, I can see my ID is not envarchar, is an integer. I can change it here and change it to int. My other date here is date, region is envarchar, city, category, quantity integer, unit price float. It's not showing online. Wow, interesting. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and reshare. So please confirm. Can you see my screen now for those online? Okay, I'm resharing now, so you're supposed to see it. Okay, you're only seeing the SSMS. Okay. So I'm sharing my entire screen now. So don't forget, let me start from the beginning. You double click on databases, then you go to that particular database you want to put your table. You right click, go to tax. From tax, you go to import flat file. So I'm going to pause here for a moment. Can you see my screen? Yes, yes, awesome. Okay, so you click on next. You have to locate your file. So you browse. So here I have it here. So I'll open that. So I can change it here. I can just put food sample or food. So I can change my table name here. Okay, then you leave your data schema as DBO. So you preview here so you can see how it looks like, just a quick preview. Then here you can modify your columns. So like I was explaining the other time. Okay, I think the time is lagging between online and those on site. So I'm changing this to integer. So it's giving me a voucher. So I discovered that this is not data type for my ID. My IDs are just pure numbers. So you can leave it, you can try to change it. If it's okay, you leave it. If it's not, then you change it. Like I said, is your Excel 2019? Okay, my Excel is not 2017. Yeah, I was supposed seriously. It will not work. I've tried it before. My Excel is not 2017. Like I said, that is 2017 and above. I'll come and check it. It should be 2017 and above. Okay. So I'll click on next. So to give you the summary. So this is the name. That's your database on your DBO. This is Oluwatishionla. So that's my server name on my local computer. My database name is Business Analytics. That's why I have to click on that database to show that I want to put this data. So my table name is food sample, and this is the file to be imported. So I'll click finish. So success. Then I'll close this. So I should refresh this. Refresh. Go back. So you can see I have food sample. So I just import that automatically. Okay. Is that clear for those online? Okay, I can say yes, yes. Okay. So let me go back to my students database. So that's where I have my bio data. Do I still have time? Can I continue? 5 minutes. Okay, so let me see what I can. You know, okay, the next instructor tomorrow is going to really show you some other wonderful stuff that you can do with SQL. But I'm going to do one last thing. So let me just go back to my slide. Okay, so I'm going to practice in, like, and between. That's part of the order filters. Let me see. Okay, I wanted to take order by. Okay, so you can actually order your table. Let me just stop at this advanced filter in, like. So let's use this wildcard. Let's see how they function quickly. Okay, I'm going to go to my SSMS now. Mm, Okay, so this is what I have. So I want to use like, or in, or between. So let me start with between. So let's say I'm trying to look for ages between 31 and 28. Instead of writing where age where age is greater than 24 and age is less than, you can just put where age between let's do 20, age between 20 and 30. So you can see all the ages I have here. It's either below, I mean above 20 or below 30 or 30. It will include the last one. So if you're using between, be mindful. So if you want just, you don't want 30, you want 20 to 29. So you have to use 29 because it's going to include the last one. So you have 29, 26, and so on. So that's the between. Then if you want to use like and the wildcard, so where, let me use full name now. Where full name, like J, who can remind, I mean, okay. Who remembers what this percentage symbol is? What's the, as the first letter? Okay, awesome. So let me just do this. So you can say you have Jack Jones, Justin Does, Jaden Bo. But if I decide to put the percentage sign, what do you think it will happen? What do you think will happen? What kind of answer do you think I'm going to get doing this in between? So any number of character before, any number of character after. So let's run this. Um, so you can see I have Lona Jones here, J is in the middle, so it's picking that. Then Alan Jerry, Thomas Jack. But if I do just this, I might not get anything because I don't think I have any, because this underscore me just a single letter after G. So it might not give me any query, it might give me an empty query, but I don't think I have something like that. So empty. So that's that about wildcard. So do you have any question for I leave this place? Anybody with any question? Okay, is there a query to show the table present? Okay, no. But once when you have your tables there, once you refresh here, it will show you all your tables. For this student, I have just one table. For, let me check some other, database. Let me check this testing. I have just one here too. Mm. So here I have two. I have local government, LCD, I have food sales. Okay. How do we get the slides? I believe support system will help you. I mean, it's going to drop it in your Google Classroom. So the slides will be available. Actually, in the slides, you have more content. I'm sorry I'm not able to finish. Time is quite short. I'm going to overshot my time, sir. So you can just, and then I'll really advise as data scientists, one of our quests is quest for knowledge. Google is like my friend and YouTube. So you can just browse and check and then practice and practice and practice. Well, for me, I taught myself most of my data science, background. I was just interested. It just interests me. So I learned, I didn't really have, did I even do any physical class? Well, okay, maybe now when I'm taking certifications, but beginner, I had to do everything strictly offline. So I really encourage you to be knowledge thirsty, search online, check, listen to multiple things, and it really broaden your knowledge. And then you can actually attack. Even if you're working with MySQL, the basic difference will just be little. Like in MySQL, you always have to put that um, semicolon. But here, I can run this without semicolon to still run, but I want it to just be a constant practice for you to always put it so that in cases where you're not working in SSMS, you can also do that. So I would just want you to encourage you on that. So business analytics, it's awesome, I tell you, and it's something that you're being employed in an organization and then you're adding value. You can tell them, sir, I just checked the trends and I can see that we need more people from this region. Can we increase sales in this area? From my querying, I've seen from our data we have this with, and then your boss will looking like, wow, you're amazing. How do you get all that? Just by understanding what database is. So please, I'll encourage you be knowledge thirsty, go the extra mile, and be the best you can be. So thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate the time here. Okay. Somebody's asking for the slide. Don't worry, you get the slide.
Hello, everyone. I trust you had a great time in class. So please do well to mark in your attendance. It's super important before we close the class. Yeah, the slide will be shared with everyone. Just make sure to check the Google Classroom. The slide will be shared with you all.